In this video, we are going to show you how to feed a baby parrot. As you can see, there is a variety of foods that are made available for baby parrots. In this case, we are going to show you how we prepare the special foods. First, we have special parrot mix powder, which is designed specifically for feeding baby parrots. And you take that and you mix that in water so that it is the consistency of a gravy. So you add some of the baby powder and you add a sufficient amount of water so that it becomes the right consistency. You don't want the mix to be too thick, otherwise the parrot will have a hard time swallowing it. Make sure that you mix it very thoroughly. There you go. And if you want to, you can add a variety of fruits to that, such as ripe banana, and you just chop that up and mix that in with the formula, or you can use a mortar and pestle and you can use that to blend the mixture. You can add a variety of fruits: banana, oranges, apples, grapes, and you can mix that all together. Make sure that it's mixed thoroughly and that the consistency of the mix is not too thick, and try to eliminate all the lumps. Of course, if you're using oranges or other fruits that might have seeds or pits, you want to make sure that you remove those first so that your baby parrot will not inadvertently choke on them. So here we are mixing this together, mixing it thoroughly. The special powder which you can buy for parrots is available. Young birds between the months of 1 month to perhaps as late as 5 months will probably need to be hand-fed throughout the day. For a young bird, you may have to do 3 feedings or more. They start to eat some solid food, some sunflower seeds, at about the age of 3 months, but not enough to keep them fully nourished. And of course, the sunflower seeds by themselves do not provide sufficient nutrients. Young parrots grow very quickly, and so they need to eat frequently, and they need to have highly nutritious foods. So you mix the powder with water, and if you choose, you may add some fresh fruits to that as well. And when it is now completely mixed and of the right consistency, then we're ready to feed our bird. So here we have our 3-month-old African gray parrot, Mai Mai. And Mai Mai gets hand-fed 3 or 4 times a day with a variety of special mix. As you can see, he's has quite an appetite. He ate several hours ago, but yeah, he's very happy to have a meal again. Now, we're using a small spoon. However, it is common to use a syringe, and these can be obtained in any pet store, and they are used to feed baby birds. But we have found that using a small plastic spoon is actually better. When feeding a parrot, they're just like human babies. They get a little sloppy, and so you have to keep them clean and be careful not to get the food all over their head in the process. He's got a real good appetite, and he really loves that combination of fruit that we have there. Now, one thing that we've learned is that baby parrots have very sharp toenails. You would think that you would put a towel or something soft underneath him when you're feeding him, but if you were to do that, you would find that his feet would get stuck in the cloth or any other soft material, and so we like to put him down on a hard surface. And the other thing, of course, is that they poop quite a bit, and we usually put a newspaper underneath him for that reason, and to catch any of the food that might drop out of his mouth. When feeding a baby parrot, you have to be very careful, because you do not want to give him too much food at one time. Even though looks like he can eat everything there on the spoon, we have to be careful that you give him only small quantities at a time so that he can swallow it safely. If you put too much food in his mouth, then it's possible that he might choke on it, and of course you want to avoid that. So it's best to use small quantities at a time, and just make sure, give him enough time to swallow what he already has in his mouth. He really seems to prefer this mix at this time. I'm sure that in a few more months, these feedings will be reduced quite a bit, maybe to only once or twice a day, and he will be eating larger quantities of seeds and parrot mix and other solid foods. And eventually, of course, he will be weaned completely from this mixture. Actually, it's quite enjoyable to feed him, and it's a great way of bonding with your bird. Having a young bird has many advantages in that, one, they don't have any fear. They crave attention and contact, and they become very acclimated to being touched and being handled, and identify with people as being their caregivers, and people that they can depend on and who they feel safe around. So if you intend to get a parrot of any kind, I would certainly recommend that you try to get a young parrot. 3 months or 4 months is about as young as you'd want to get. At that age, they're already starting to be weaned and have some mobility. He's not much of a walker. We make sure that he gets plenty of exercise on the floor so that he can learn some walking skills. He can't quite balance himself entirely. He's just starting to learn to stand on a perch. He likes to flap his wings, but of course it's going to be quite a while before he's able to get off the ground. So in many ways, they're like a human baby. They need that same care and attention. And most important of all, they are very enjoyable to be with at this age. And every day, he's doing something new, something different to keep us amused, and he's going to grow up to be a very loved member of our family. Now, after we feed him with his mixture, we like to give him a little bit of water just to help him wash down what he's eaten. And also, which is very important, you want to be able to clean out the inside of their mouths. Make sure that there is no accumulated foods that might adhere to the inside of their beaks and ferment. So giving them a little bit of water helps to flush out their mouth, and we like to use the syringe for that purpose. He could probably eat more, but we don't want to overfeed him. And we also want to encourage him to eat his sunflower seeds. So there he is, and I think right at this moment he's a very happy bird. Now, after he has finished eating and we have given him some water and flushed out his mouth, the next very important step is to make sure that there are no foodstuffs lodged in his beak or in his mouth anywhere. So you just use a Q-tip and clean out his mouth. This is particularly important at night when you're going to be giving him his last feeding, because you don't want any foodstuffs to remain in his mouth throughout the night where it can ferment. So that's about it. This is how you feed your baby parrot.
You